What's up, everybody? Got some channel update stuff I want to talk about before we get into the PvP commentary. So I figured I'd just start this video with the longest 2v1 of my life. That way I don't have to talk about it too much. But if you're not interested in any of that, you just want to skip ahead straight to the build guide, go ahead. There are timestamps down at the bottom, because I'm sure that's why a lot of people are here anyway. But the first thing was, I wanted to just say another quick thank you to everybody that's subscribed to the channel lately. Time of recording, I think we're like less than 50 subscribers away from being eligible for YouTube Partner finally. And we're way past the watch time requirement, so should be any day now, I'd imagine. But thank you guys for all the support. And the other thing I want to talk about was OKBet and I have been talking about collaborating on some YouTube content lately. Kind of some explainer videos showing off testing for different things. That way you don't have to just take somebody's word for stuff. You can see the test for yourself. Guides, things like that. Because between the two of us, we have just a stupid amount of hours played in this game. And we do still actually pretty frequently get a lot of new player type questions from people. So we do still get new people in the game, whether people want to believe that or not. If you manage to find my channel and you don't know who OKBet is, he streams New World pretty much every day, and he uploads a YouTube video like once a decade. If you do happen to check my buddy's channel out, do me a favor, tell him PJ says, "What's up, Baldy?" It's fine. He told me he loves when that happens. I'm going to throw a link to his channel down in the description. We actually had some pretty good matches this weekend. A whole bunch of games over 20 kills, and some that were just terribly negative because I went full tilt and just kept sprinting face first into the 5 stacks. Anyway, we're getting into some PvP commentary here. Just off chasing this stupid musket. And these guys are professional runners. And this next clip is from later in that same match. Took us forever, but I eventually break down the stupid door. There is a friendly healer running around somewhere outside, but he's kind of busy dealing with his own musket problems, so 3v1 in here for a little bit. Just trying my best to get down the stupid respawn beacon. That way I can recuperate, come back in, and not have to worry about more people spawning in while I'm fighting these guys. But I hop off the balcony trying to make an escape and actually jump right into the musket that was tying up the healer. And it seems like this guy's buddies left him already. So that was super quick, but sucks for him. He is squishy as hell. But this guy's a professional runner. And once we finally get our hands on him though, he goes down pretty damn quick. But still get people commenting every once in a while. They think when you have blooddrinker on, you just have to tickle people. Like you just are incapable of doing big damage. But even against like some heavy players, still heavy attacking them with serenity for like 5k plus sometimes. So it just all depends on their resistances. I mean, I understand technically it should be more punishing than wearing heavy armor because it's minus 25% base damage and heavy armor is only minus 15. But between Nature's Wrath giving you 20% back, Moonstone giving you another 17% back, and Keen Berserk, just honestly, that buff was huge. Just another 20% crit damage. As long as you're hitting people in the back with the hatchet, people still melt, especially light players. But every once in a while you run into a stupid healer, it's just like 50% slash resist for some damn reason. But I'm light attacking this guy in the back for 3k a swing. So you can still blow people up pretty quick. Seeing the build guide, I kind of changed it up a little bit. Took OKBet's advice. I dropped Tumbler's feet wraps, so not as tanky as normal, but it's definitely a noticeable damage increase going with Nature's Wrath. So I normally wouldn't do that in medium just because you can't get to perfect 22.9 armor, and in my mind it was like gonna be a drastic decrease in your actual armor value, but it's really not even noticeable. It's like less than 3% difference. Plus the perks it allows you to get just more than makes up for it, because you get 3 heavy pieces and we're just going full frigid on for all 3 pieces. But come around the corner trying to root the healer in place, he manages to perfectly dodge it, and you see that flamethrower player, he ended up taking like 4k from one swing at Torrent. It's kind of crazy how much of a difference it makes when somebody's running a lot of slash resist or not. Like, I've been seeing so much more of just hatchets lately that like there was a few matches I kind of just got tired of it, and I was running like 40% slash resist and 2 fire resist gems, and that was it. Just I put everything into slash. I was just pretty much tired of fighting against my own build. But appreciate you guys hanging out thus far, and we'll hop into the guide here in a second. So when we get the update in October, we're also going to get fresh start servers, and I'm definitely going to make a new character. So I kind of wanted to see how closely can I recreate the build been using the past couple weeks without having to worry about leveling up all my crafting all over again. So I wanted to see how many of my pieces I can replace with just named items and take it straight to the gypsum kiln and just be done with it. So artifacts pretty straightforward. They're just going to stay the same. I run a shirking heals on all my pieces. Okay bet swears up and down by slash conditioning, and you definitely feel tankier. You can notice a difference, but I just really prefer shirking heals. But since we're going Nature's Wrath and medium, we can go 3 heavy pieces. So we're going Frigid Dawn for the helmet, the gloves, and the boots. And that takes care of almost all of our armor. You can get these with either Dense Mutator Materia, which you can get from your Season Pass, or just run the dungeon over and over until they drop. But you will have to upgrade them no matter what, because straight from the dungeon they'll never drop with shirking heals on them, because it's a PvP only perk. So for the pants, you can recreate this exact pair of pants. Problem is I don't want refreshing, but the Azoth Crystal pants come with Enchanted Ward and Refreshing, and I would just put shirking heals on them, and those are going to be my temporary pants until I level my crafting, and then I'll go Enchanted Ward, shirking heals, and whatever weapon perk I want to use for the build, because I don't really care about refreshing too much, but it's just the best light pair of pants that you can get just from using materia. And the only other perk I won't have access to immediately is Divine, because there are 2 options for amulets with protection on them that don't have just oddball random crap perks. One's thrust protection, one's slash protection, but both of them come with health. So I would put stamina recovery on there as the 3rd perk. So I'll be running health, a protection, stam recovery until I can craft my own amulet. Divine typically just benefits my builds a lot more just because of all the self-sustain I kind of focus on between shirking heals, blooddrinker, regenerating on the earring, dark ascent. Like it's just a lot of self-healing. But blooddrinker, again, just an artifact. Farm the dungeon until you get it. The earring. So again, I don't really care about refreshing, but there are 2 earrings that would let me get to Fortifying Toast, Healing Heart, and Regen, which is what I'm going to go for. I want Healing Heart because typically when I hit Dark Ascent, it's because I got Dove, and I could really use a quick burst heal. So best way to use Dark Ascent typically is just double tap your heart rune button. That way, as soon as you fly up, you come right back down immediately. It doesn't give people time to react and just scatter. So you can get as much lifesteal as possible. Serenity, right now I have a gemstone on it, or a gem socket I should say, is what I put on it at the kiln, but that'll probably change next season. But if you want to copy it for now, I'm just using an emerald. So the balance blade, the empower, automatically gets dispelled because of Nature's Wrath, but with the illegal perk combo of Trenchant Crits and Trenchant Strikes, in my opinion, it's still just better than any other greatsword. For the hatchet, you can recreate this exact hatchet with the hatchet from the PvP track. The Berserker's Axe comes with penetrating backstab and vicious, and I definitely recommend putting Keen Berserk on pretty much any hatchet you use, unless you're just using it as a runaway tool. For the most part, everything else I'll be using weapon-wise are artifacts, except for sword, which perks next season will be completely different. But if you are going to play a sword and shield build, you have to drop one of your heavy pieces for a medium piece, and I definitely recommend getting a artisan's round shield. It has an illegal perk combo on it for Enchanted and Vicious, and this up levels up to 675 in PvP modes. So the values you see here aren't what you'll actually get in Outpost Rush and Arena. But I'm definitely going to farm Inferno again. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about why yet, but I'm not going to be using Fireball on it next season. I'll be using a different perk. And Venom, same thing. Probably won't be using Pen Backstab anymore. And honestly, Scorpion Sting feels so clunky lately. Like I haven't even played it at all for a while. So don't know if I'll even bother farming it again because this thing's kind of a pain to get. I almost forgot I wanted to mention this again. For anybody that might have skipped ahead to this part, I talked about it a little bit earlier on, but I have 1915 physical armor, which is only like a 3% loss for not having a perfect 22.9. But in my opinion, it's definitely worth all the extra damage you get using Nature's Wrath, because normally my physical armor with 22.9 is only like 1970 with the 200 con bonus, so it's really not much of a noticeable difference. So the only thing I've changed on my hatchet tree is I stopped taking aim throw and started taking frenzy purge. Honestly, it's not like big value or anything, but I was just never using the aim throw, and everything else is kind of crap. So this is just nice to have. My spear tree, this is pretty much what I'm running when I'm not using Scorpion Sting. The idea is basically soften them up with Perforate. If you land your Vault Kick, dodge behind them, sweep stab. That kills most people. So this is what I've been running for my greatsword tree. I really like, I talked about this in my last video, being able to block, especially with all the stupid muskets now, you can block pretty much as if you're holding a shield. You can block 100% of ranged attacks without taking any damage. And as soon as somebody shoots at you and puts you in combat, you can just block for a few seconds, and all of a sudden, you basically have an extra 15% damage absorption against all damage types. So these two are super handy, and the other ones are pretty nice. This one's actually pretty strong, but the other two are just kind of whatever. But the combo I usually go for is if somebody's just barely out of reach, I open up with Relentless Rush. What this does is lets me close the gap. It puts a 20% slow on them, so they take an extra 10% damage from 200 strength, and it also puts me into Onslaught stance. So since I'm already in Onslaught, they take 15% rend from the opening attack and a 20% disease. The follow-up attack, everybody knows what this looks like. Most people dodge it, but that's kind of what we want. We want people to spend their stamina. So as soon as I throw this down and they dodge, I immediately follow up with a heavy attack. If they dodge that too, I know they're pretty much out of stamina, so I'm free to throw out crosscut. If they don't dodge the heavy attack and they just face tank it, I just keep throwing heavy attacks until they start dodging, and then you're free to throw out crosscut once they're either stammed or close to stammed. That should be just about everything. Hopefully I didn't forget anything, but if I did and you still have questions, please feel free to throw them in the comments. I try to respond to everybody, and I'll see you guys in Outpost Rush.